Why buy someone else's old problems? Resale homes often come with outdated appliances, inefficient insulation, and costly hidden repairs. City Ventures offers a better way. Our brand new homes feature modern open floor plans, stylish fixtures, and the peace of mind that comes with a builder's warranty. Everything is fresh, functional, and designed for how you live today. Skip the renovation headaches and move into something perfect. Find your new beginning at cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sentimental Gardener podcast. I'm very excited to bring you today's episode, but before we get to our guest, I'm delighted to say that this space at the beginning of the podcast is open for sponsors. You can share your business and share all the brilliant work you do or the wonderful products you've made with our audience. And if you would like to find out more information about becoming a sponsor, just see the link in the show notes. Okay, on to the episode. This podcast celebrates the lives of gardeners, artists, authors, designers, horticulturalists, growers, and straight-up plant enthusiasts about the gardens that have shaped them, the plant memories they carry with them, and the lessons they've learnt along the way. As an everyday enthusiastic home gardener, what I want this podcast to do is shine a light on the value of having a relationship with nature through the act of gardening and highlight the lives of people who have been changed for the better because of plants. I'm thrilled today to say my guest on The Sentimental Gardener is Ben Clark, co-owner of Kuranga Native Nursery, which he runs with his wife, Alexa. For many years, Kuranga was somewhat of a hidden gem at the foothills of the Dowding Ranges in Victoria, Australia. But today, hundreds of visitors come daily to browse the gift shop, savour the diverse menu at the cafe, and take their pick out of the 3,500 Australian native species and cultivars in the specialty nursery. To Aussie plant lovers, Kuranga isn't just a nursery, it's an experience. For me personally, Kuranga holds wonderful memories of sharing my podcast idea when it was just still this little idea and to industry friends at Kuranga and hearing them say, just go for it. And with the recent news of Kuranga expanding to a second site in Warrandyte, I thought it would be a wonderful way to dig into the story of Ben and Alexa, find out which gardens have inspired Ben throughout his life, and how they plan to disperse more plants into gardens across Victoria. So a huge warm welcome to my guest today, Ben from Kuranga. Ben, welcome to the Sentimental Gardener podcast.
No worries. Thanks, Cass.
We're going to go all the way back and talk about Ben in your early childhood and your memories of being in gardens or green spaces.
Yeah, my earliest memories. So I grew up in Warrandyte. Yeah, mum and dad, they've been in Warrandyte for probably 40 odd years or something. Grew up in a bushy block in North Warrandyte, very shallow soil and harsh sort of gardening area. I sort of had that childhood of, tree houses, making slip and slides, with a sheet of plastic down the rocky sort of backyard and all that sort of stuff. So very outdoorsy as a kid. A lot of camping trips and weekends away with mum and dad and Emma when we were young. We used to go up to my grandpa's. He's got like an old miner's cottage, a hut up on Big River in Enoch's Point. So that was a highlight. We'd go there a few times a year and we'd just spend, long weekends and things up there and out in the bush. That was always, so early days, very much an outdoor sort of childhood. Yeah.
And how would you describe the landscape? From my memory, it was used for gold mining. Like there's a river that goes through Warrandyte. It's the Yarra River, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
It's really bushy. But how would you describe it?
It is. It's in the green wedge. So if you look at a map of Melbourne, you'll see like this sort of ribbon of green going through the northeast, and Warrandyte's right there, sort of, halfway along, and it sort of extends right into that sort of follows the Yarra into sort of Fairfield, that direction. So Warrandyte's super leafy, but it's still, fairly close to the city and sort of suburbia.
Did your parents have a garden or was it bush surrounding the house?
Yep. So they had a garden. They had I'd love to know the history. They bought Dad's a builder, so they bought a weatherboard house, did an extension, and they had an old sort of English style garden, but it's got some old native plants in it. Like it's got like Gymea lilies, Dorianthes, that are these huge, like, 3-4 meter wide clumps.
Wow.
And whenever it was a mystery. This thing used to send up this flower spike, like probably like twice in my whole childhood. And we were like, oh my God, the plant's doing that thing where it's sending up the spike. And we were just amazed that was happening. Mum was so proud of it. Yeah, so they had it's a bit of a English sort of cottage style garden. They had freesias all through the lawn.
Oh, wow.
Which at the time was stunning. Now I'm just like, environmental weeds.
So growing up in Warrandyte and being surrounded by the bush, did you go and work in horticulture straight out of school, or what was that journey like for you?
Real early days, I do become obsessed with things. Like I've got that sort of, it takes over me. I had a veggie garden and I ended up selling veggies to my parents.
As a kid?
Yeah. So I had it was outside my bedroom window. So Mum would be hanging the clothes on the line and I'd see her like picking the snow peas off and I'm like, bang, bang, bang on the window. You got to pay for those. So I used to do that myself. Like had the whole, probably found some Yates gardening book and followed, the seasonal guide of what I should be planting. And mucked around with that.
Yep.
I also bought from the Trading Post a greenhouse. Yeah, I had a greenhouse in the backyard, right down the back that we put up and ordered the gravel from the garden supplies myself, did the whole thing.
How old would you have been?
I reckon I was about 13, 14, something like that. Yeah.
It's a lot of ambition at that age, isn't it? That's cool.
I don't know. I got into bonsai too.
Really?
I was doing all sorts of stuff. So I did a whole heap of eucalyptus seedlings. Did a lot of those in the greenhouse. But I also had a little gardening shed area where I was doing cuttings. I was trying to do like layering on random trees in the front yard, getting again, out of my Yates gardening book, whatever. Like scarring the stem, totally thought it was going to work. But, I've just got some random glad-wrapped pot in a tree 3 meters off the ground. So I did all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny how it all turned out. But from an early age, I was sort of, growing things and doing that sort of stuff. So, my first job, my old man's a builder, so I'd kick around job sites with him and go to work and help out, a bit of labouring, that sort of stuff, school holidays on the shredder, shred all these things, office work. Yeah, but my first job was at Research Plant Farm, which isn't there anymore. It's on Research Warrandyte Road. It's a little nursery. And Mum used to get embarrassed because I'd always get her to call in and I'd ask for a job. She'd be like, she says it now. I didn't realise at the time. I was totally oblivious. But she's like, oh my God, he's going in again. And I'd go in there and ask Vinny if he's got any work and whatever. And eventually I was 14 and 9 months and he gave me a job.
Wow.
So I'd work there every Sunday for, $7 an hour cash or something. And that's my first sort of taste of it. And I could walk there from school.
Okay.
So I ended up doing a few hour and a half after school, just little shifts as well. I used to work on a Sunday and one of the managers there would take off for his lunch break and go down to the bakery and get a pie and a Big M or whatever. And I'd be left in this retail nursery. I'm like 15. There's customers in the car park. I'm trying to work the till. Yeah, trying to give people plant advice. It was just, sink or swim sort of stuff. So that was funny looking back on all of that.
Did you study horticulture? Did you go and do like a TAFE course and an official apprenticeship? Because it sounds like you started an apprenticeship when you were like 14, with that experience. But was there an official avenue for you into it?
Yeah, definitely. Back in the day, early 2000s, Backyard Blitz was really big on TV.
Yes.
Ground Force. All those sort of renovate your backyard in 2 days sort of stuff. They were like big shows. So I decided, Jamie Jury's the man and I'm going to be a landscaper.
Okay.
So I started a school-based landscaping apprenticeship. I think I was the second kid to ever do a school-based apprenticeship at our school. And it just worked out really well that the company that I worked with, Scotty Wind from TLC, a local landscaper for us, he was associated with the nursery that I was working at. Turns out he's like a extremely successful, amazing designer, architect.
Wow.
And it was just building beautiful projects all over town. When I was there, it was during the period that he went over to Chelsea. So I was just working 1 day a week, but it was like the highlight of my week. Mum would drop me off at Scott's house at 6 a.m, 5:45, and he'd bury me down to the peninsula somewhere or in the inner eastern suburbs. And I'd just be digging, trenches and sitting in the truck with the fellas on the way home. And it was really good. Like it didn't last long, but I honestly, it was pretty influential. So that was like the first part of it. I hurt my back because I grew about 6 inches in a year.
Because you are very tall, aren't you? How tall are you?
I'm
6'1".
6'1".
Okay.
Not that tall.
But you grew really, really quickly over a short period of time.
I had like 15-year-old growth spurt. Yeah. And all the hours I'd done, I could put towards a nursery apprenticeship, which I was still super passionate about. So I did that. All my hours went to the nursery pre-apprenticeship and I finished that. That was the next sort of phase. I went to Warrandyte Nurseries in Smiths Gully, which is a purist native nursery.
Okay.
A big indige nursery. So majority of their business was local forestry, like tubes and local genetics. And again, great mentors there, Khan and Julie Frankie, who've retired now, but they were quite prominent with native plants through the sort of 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So at that stage, I was doing it, Cert 3 in horticulture, wholesale nursery was called.
Okay.
Back then you could do, retail nursery or wholesale nursery. Yeah, and there was a decent pool of kids at TAFE each week. These days it's not the case. Pretty good pathway back then. So I was at Warrandyte. Again, they were amazing. Like, I'd sit next to Julie doing propagation, and watching her doing the seed sowing and, going on bushwalks with Khan, IDing things in the gullies through St. Andrews and, seed to seed collection. So that was amazing for me to get, right in the nitty gritty in the prop shed, understanding all the techniques and methodology as well.
Yeah, I understand that you were at Kuranga as an apprentice. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. So, Warrandyte closed. Khan put me in the truck and drove me around to the 4 nurseries he'd recommend me working at and sort of shopped me around to a few of the different owners and said, I've got this kid. And I won't say who they all were, but one of them was Kuranga. So sat around the kitchen table with Evan at his place. Evan and Leanne owned Kuranga Native Nursery. They founded it and started it. And sat around the table with Evan. Khan gave his little pitch about me and Evan offered me a job.
Like an endorsement, was it? Like a LinkedIn endorsement from back in the day?
That's right, so Evan got me on board. I was an apprentice for, I think, 18 months here before I finished. So initially I was doing forestry tubes because that's what I was experienced at through Warrandyte at Kuranga. And I'm still here.
So good. And Kuranga, has it always been just natives, Australian natives? Yeah.
Yeah, yep, definitely. Yeah. History of Kuranga is pretty inspiring as well. They Evan and Leanne started Kuranga in 1983. Evan was selling seed mail order through I think it was like a booklet or some sort of publication that went out. And so he chose the name Kuranga when he was like 16 or something as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was quite young, I think. And he chose the name and paired up with Leanne, who is a talented horticulturalist and amazing businesswoman. There's sort of, as you asked earlier, definitely 100% Australian native plants and has grown the majority in-house from inception just to have the range that we want to carry. Worked out early on that you couldn't be a straight-up retailer on selling plants and get the range that we wanted. So we've always grown the majority in-house. We still do that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So 70% you grow here. As someone who comes to Kuranga quite regularly, has a coffee first and then goes and wanders, not understanding like that there are, well, this morning you were describing that you were at the plant sale and you were buying plants. So that whole nursery world is not every nursery that you go to will be growing their own plants and then reselling them. They buy them from wholesalers. Can you just give me a quick background about how that world works and then why it's so important for Kuranga to, grow their own as much as possible?
Yeah, it's sort of like controlling your supply chain. It's vertical integration. It's all those like advantages you get from it. I think a lot of suburban retail nurseries maybe once upon a time would have had the paddock out the back to have some plants to sell as well.
Okay.
But these days it's price of land in the suburbs is so hard to do that. There may be some growers that have a separate site elsewhere. And there are some big nurseries that do a lot of that still. The other thing is, because we're a specialist nursery, we can do, like, we're just doing Australian native plants, but if you're a general nursery that's trying to pump out hydrangeas and deciduous trees and ferns and orchids, potted colour, it's pretty different production methods for all of those things. So it's good to have specialist nurseries that can supply. You know, you go to, I was at Trade Day this morning.
Trade Day, that's right.
And
so I forgot what it was called.
And there's like the leading rose grower.
Okay.
And then you go and it's the leading carnivorous plant. And it's like, very different. And then it's palms, and then it's more potted colour, and then it's natives, and then it's grafted natives, and then it's indoor plants. Specialist growers have got it absolutely dialed in, the quality and their range, and they're amazing at it. And we do it because we are a bit of a specialist grower, but we're also the garden centre at the end of the day.
And I never thought about that concept of like every species has its own way to be propagated or grown from seed or collected. And there's a whole process when you're mass producing, not like if we're at home and we're just like, oh, I'll take a couple of cuttings and hope a couple take. Like, you've got the volume, like you said, the stock that you have to get out, don't you? So that's why I can see that, by niching, it's really important to be able to grow your own and understand that process. And how awesome that you've had that experience yourself as the person who's been, at the table propagating or collecting seed, so that you understand the whole process. I love how that's all connected.
Yeah. It's I'm passionate about that. I love propagation and the young plants and finding varieties, selecting varieties. I love all that side of it, and really that's like the engine room. You've got to get that right.
Okay.
To get the end product, plants from the ground in the nursery, you've got to get the prop.
Yeah. Are there any particular things about propagating natives, and I know I'm clumping them all together, that people at home could think about if they wanted to try propagating or growing? Are there any particular techniques that would be really good for people to look up or know?
Yeah, propagating from cuttings, you just want a material sort of the size of your finger. Some things we take the tip out, some things we don't. You really just need to create the right environment. So if you're doing it at home, those little propagation plastic frames are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Have a little over the top.
Yep.
They're great. Just got to use the right mix, the right material, use a rooting hormone.
Yes.
And you'll get the best results.
Yeah, okay. And then I'm thinking while we're talking about that, because I know I lumped all natives together, and how you propagate a tree will be different to how you propagate other things that maybe are more flowering. But there's a concept I learned last year when I interviewed Roger Elliott, who was a grower back in the 60s and 70s and helped cultivate. So that word cultivation of Australian natives. And I suppose you touched on it before. There's a big difference between things that grow out naturally in the bush and just, grow by themselves, but then bringing plants into production to be able to grow in our home gardens.
Yeah, that's right. So it's cultivation. So bringing something into cultivation. Often people say, there's plants, growing on headlands along the coast, New South Wales, that amazing garden plants that are compact and small, and they'll flower their heads off, and they'll tolerate heavy soil. And there's some amazing breeders and plant collectors and people who've brought in some amazing specimens to the industry. It's still early days with a lot of that stuff.
Really?
I feel like it is. There's over the last probably 20 years, just the improvement in tighter, more compact forms, thin, tall screening plants, neat, clean looking natives, not 5 metre high bottle brushes, 30 metre high eucalypts. There's all these little mallee ukes that are suited to suburban gardens that top out at 4 or 5 metres. So I suppose that's an example of something that's brought into cultivation. So brought into the production cycle of all these big growers that now you can get for your home garden. So
I feel excited when you say that we're sort of at the start, or we're still at the beginning of that whole Australian native cultivation movement. I have done a bit of reading about gardens in the past, and that there was a period of time in like 60s and 70s when native home gardens were quite described as messy and scrubby, but it seems like walking around Kuranga to see what's available, there is a lot of colour that you see here that might not go with that stereotypical native garden. So what have you seen change over the years from the early days at Kuranga to the range that's available now?
Yeah, you're right. Like, that's right. In the 70s, big Westringias that never get pruned and they end up just being these 4-metre giants that hang over your driveway and scratch you as you take the bins out. Yeah, great in their own way. But there's so many new options, for colour. If people want that sort of this perennial sort of look, there's all these combinations you can do with lithrums and plectranthus and all Dampiera purpureas, and just you can get those sort of textural plants. And there's just, I'm talking about like when you're shopping at Kuranga, I feel like there's options to do that.
Yeah.
It might not be like all over the country, but we think it's sort of education and just knowing what you can do with different combinations.
Yeah. Okay.
So often we rely on like designers to sort of lead the way a bit with that, building beautiful gardens and showing plants in interesting combinations, and then home gardeners can recreate that as well over the counter here.
Yes. And I'm just thinking like at the last 2 Melbourne International Flower and Garden shows that I've been to, there were a lot of show gardens that included Australian natives as feature plants or as like the majority of planting. Even a couple of years ago, Jocelyn Bennett did a garden that was just Australian natives to try and highlight that possibility of what can be achieved with colour and shape and, not that whole scrubby look. And that's okay if you want the scrubby look. But maintenance is one of the things we have to think about at home when we're maintaining a garden. So, yeah, it's cool that you talk about designers almost like in partnership. And it was interesting because this morning when I was waiting to start the podcast, I was having a coffee and I saw Matt York downstairs, who is a garden designer who showed at this year's MIFGUS, and I understand that he got some of his plants from here. Is that right? And there might have been other designers.
Yeah, I've been involved in MIFGUS the last 5 years.
Yep.
And Matt York was our main big show garden this year. And we did pretty much all his plants except for the large grass trees, maybe 1 or 2 other varieties. We started that quite a while ago and grew stuff out for Matt to spec. Yeah, and helped with the plant selection for a lot of it too. Yep, guided. So just walked around the paddock, listened to his vision and sort of the aesthetic he was trying to achieve, and we just go back and forwards looking at different selections we could use, what size we reckon we could get it to, what it might look like in different pot sizes, and what we could achieve. So Matt was here this morning because all of those plants for his garden are living on in a landscape in the Docklands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's doing it this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So I love that sort of sustainability factor. Ties into our philosophy a lot. So, it's going to live on so we can go and visit that garden.
That's so good.
He won Best in Show Gold and Best Use of Plants Life. Yep.
That's awesome. It was a beautiful garden. Tell me more about this sustainability philosophy.
Yeah, it's sort of cultural for us. Like it's sort of tied into a lot of the decisions we make. There's throughout the day, there's 20 times where you've got to go left or right, making calls on things. And it sort of just ties into our philosophy, business and the production nursery, and even like our chemical use. Yeah, how much pressure our plants are under. Like we grow outdoors. Most things grow outdoors.
Okay.
Some things are protected because they're a long way from home.
Mm-hmm.
Other side of Australia, that's up north, that sort of thing.
Just thinking about that, because native doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to grow well in your backyard, does it? So you grow natives from all around the country. And do you have any here that are like indigenous to the area?
Yeah, we do. We do have a Indig sort of forestry tube section. For us, it's Indigenous to Greater Melbourne because our customers are from the Western Plains and the Peninsula, obviously the Yarra Ranges, Dandenong. So we've got a lot of local genetics with our forestry tubes, but we do source stuff from growers from regions of Victoria, Melbourne.
And what I love about the nursery when I come to is that for people who are still learning about what works in their garden for their area and don't always understand like how tall plants will grow, because you might go, oh, I love eucalyptus, but not realize it's going to be 30 metres tall. You have really intentionally designed the nursery where things are categorised in plant types and shade loving and more, could you describe some of that, what the intention is and has that been helpful with people?
Yeah, a bit of a masterstroke by Evan and Leanne back in the day. Because we are doing just Australian natives, we're able to merchandise or lay out the nursery in a way that's in size categories.
Yeah.
So it can be overwhelming if you roll out there and there's 2,500, sometimes 3,000 lines. So they're in categories that, if you need to do a hedge, you can head over to large shrubs, find your 3 metre high acacias and get 12 of those. And then you need a feature plant in the middle. Okay, let's head over grafted and find a nice Revelia bush lemon or something. And then you need a border plant along the edge of your pathway. You head into maybe grasses or ground covers and get your sort of edging and border plants. So it's a nice way for people to roll in and take control of their own design and make selections in a nice sort of sectioned off area. You can sort of build out your own plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. And you guys have just announced that you're expanding Kuranga into a second site, which is really exciting. And you're going back to Warrandyte, which is where you started. Can you tell us more about that journey of how did you know that did you need to grow? Did you want to grow? What was that? And then, why that site?
We're just thinking about what's Melbourne going to be like in the next 10 years, 20 years in terms of population growth. What's the future of Kuranga look like? Access to native plants, how do we feel about that? And the demand and the pressure that this facility is under every Saturday at 11 a.m. in terms of the amount of toilets, how big the car park is, how the cafe capacity. So we've sort of squeezed the lemon pretty hard at Mount Evelyn in terms of getting the most out of this site. So we just thought, it's probably time to look at a second location. Probably the biggest motivation is the convenience for people and access to a great native plant options for them. So that's sort of underlying it all. We have been looking around for a little while, and these days the easiest thing to do is to buy an existing nursery.
Okay.
Beasley's popped up and it's got the car park, it's got the facility. We love that site. We love the leafy setting, surrounded by manna gums. It's got a playground next door. So it ticks a lot of boxes. And we thought that's the spot for another Kuranga. We can make that a beautiful destination for people and a little bit closer for that sort of inner north crowd. It'll, it's 35 minutes from here, so it complements what we're doing here. It's close enough that the brand Kuranga is familiar for people.
Yeah.
Might take the heat off this side a little bit so we can, continue giving great customer service. And then, Warrandyte, we're basically it's going to be called Kuranga Warrandyte. We're going to create the same look and feel, same product mix, same offering, right through from the gift shop to the cafe and same plant range. So, for example, we've got this exact same amount of nursery benches that we have on both sites.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be this very similar sort of look and feel.
Oh, that's really cool to know, because it's like, when you go to the supermarket and you go to a big brand supermarket and they lay it out the same and you know that the milk's going to be down the back, and then it just takes off that bit of extra pressure, doesn't it, on your brain?
Yeah.
So,
and our staff too. Yeah.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
they can find things and put stock out. And
so good. I'm glad they have a cafe as well and the gift shop, because that's a very special part of what you guys provide, because the gift shop has incredible Australian-made products. And that's another very intentional thing that you guys do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. We're trying to stand for something in the gift shop.
Yeah.
So, it's not just all imported gifting type products. We do actually actively seek out local makers and Melbourne designers. And we've got a woolen beanie and sweater and sock supplier just in Lilydale.
Oh,
doing these amazing products for us, and all the names of their products are like local suburbs. So stuff like that, they just popped up last year. So we're supporting them. And there's a whole heap of local suppliers that we use.
And you do great events as well. So you've got Mother's Day coming up, and I love that you guys are advertising, bring your mum. And then there's been other events that I've been to, like International Women's Day was a great one as well. So as a plant lover, I love that a nursery is kind of almost like a community hub as well. So you can build community with family, other plant people, build your own plant community for home.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Rather than just a place where you go and buy more things, you're investing time into relationships as well. So I think that's so cool. Yeah.
And they're just like, you're right, there's like social things, they're for the community. They're not commercial decisions all the time. Like it's, we do Christmas native wreath flowering, a wreath making workshop.
Yeah.
And the International Women's Day breakfast. We've done quite a few breakfasts and hosted groups. Yeah.
And kids' activities too. That's another good one to try and...
School holidays, we do bush buddies. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. The other thing that's really stand out about Kuranga is you have a big banner out the front that says winner of...
2025 Horticultural Retailer of the Year.
Yeah.
So it's a nice bit of recognition for all the staff here. They set themselves a bit of a goal, so that was nice. Hard to say how one nursery is better than another when everyone's trying so hard to meet their local, sort of market. And but that was a nice bit of recognition.
Yeah. I love it how you say it's great for the staff, because it is so much about the staff as well, isn't it? That customer service and being able to help people. Yeah.
That's right. They're really proud of that. And they did a great job, tidying up last year. We had the judges come through and everyone was sort of...
Oh, so it's a whole full on, the judges come out and they have a look and everything like that, do they? Oh, wow.
You do a submission and get it shortlisted and they come and visit you and
So good.
That's right. Real celebration for the staff. We're really proud.
Oh, hey, it's Cass here. Just quickly popping in to say, after I recorded this episode with Ben, I realized I missed some really important questions about running a business with your wife and also the experience around raising a family while also managing a family business. So last week, Ben and I jumped on a call and we discussed these questions for you. It'll sound a little bit different than what you've been listening to because we recorded them online instead of in person. Okay, back to the podcast. We've talked about Alexa is your partner in the business as an owner, and I understand that she didn't come from a background in horticulture. She came from marketing. So at what point did she join you in the business?
Yeah, that's right. When we undertook this this sort of venture at Kuranga, it was always going to be like, okay, we're in it together. And Alexa had a really successful career as a marketer and worked for, quite large established advertising companies and worked on, big corporate accounts through to smaller family business accounts, NAB, Reese, plumbing, Lamazocco, coffee machines, just in sort of the graphic design space and advertising agency. So she had a proper career and, can apply all those skills to our own business now. So she works, 4 days a week for us, pretty much full time, juggling the kids as well. So going into it was always going to be, a joint effort. So she's always been a worker, always had always pretty much worked full time all the way through. So she loves it, and it's actually great. Like, she brings a really high level strategic view to all the marketing and advertising and everything we do. So,
what do you love most about working with your partner?
I don't reckon a marriage counsellor would recommend it. Like, it's for about a year, we were both in the exact same office, like together in the same, separate desks in the same room. Now we're sort of at opposite ends of the building. Can see each other from a distance, but we're not on top of each other in the same. So no, it works well. I don't know. We sort of learned to agree to disagree and think before we speak, and just sort of I don't know. We're both, I suppose, getting better at listening, and I think we get better outcomes that way.
It sounds like you've learnt through a bit of trial and error. And then, if something doesn't go right, then you can reflect back and go, okay, maybe next time we'll try it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And you always sleep on it, and the sun rises, it's a new day, and you have a different perspective. And we work well together. And honestly, like, we're best mates. We hang. Yeah, it's easy.
That's so good. And then the other added thing as a couple is that you said you have kids. So you're running a business together. Well, now, you've just expanded into your second site. What are some of the challenges with like running a business plus running a family at the same time?
Yeah, so we've got two little kids. They're 9 and 6 at the moment, a boy and a girl. So Billy and Lucy, they're, I don't know. It's like, it's what we do it for. It sort of drives us. It becomes a bit of a lifestyle running like a retail, outlet 7 days a week, coffee and cake. It's people are rolling in at 8:30 no matter what has happened at home, trying to get the kids to school no matter what's happened. People are rolling in ready to do some plant shopping. So, you've just got to sort of push through, and we've got pretty good support from both of our families and sisters, and everyone helps out. So the kids are, a little bit too comfortable at Kuranga. Billy rides his bike around and carries, carries huge sticks through the nursery if he's going to take out a customer, and very comfortable. So it's great though. I feel like, Alexa's, setting a great example for the kids too. So, yeah.
From my experience in talking to people across this podcast, those early memories as a kid are so formative in how people experience nature and, like your own story as well. So it'll be cool to reflect back in 15, 20 years time when they're older and see, what part of their life, how it influenced them as people. So, it'd be really interesting to see if they weren't involved in Aussie plants and things like that.
Yeah. I know sometimes people go the other way, like they want nothing to do with what their parents' industry was.
Yeah, true.
Or they find it as easy career that they're going to slot into, and I don't know that that's great. Okay. We just want our kids to follow their own passion, tread their own path. Absolutely no pressure to want to get into our industry. I think, just follow your passion, and so they could do anything they want. And Kuranga will just keep chugging along for however long. And
what is one key piece of advice then that you would give someone who wants to start a business, a family business, based on everything that you've learned and experienced?
I should mention, I'm equally as passionate about business as well. I study Bachelor of Business at uni at night school, and I love it. And so bits of advice would be, I reckon, to work for yourself as soon as you can. Don't wait till when I hit 25, when I hit 28, when I hit 30, I'm going to do this. As soon as you can, get those, learn from your mistakes before you can't afford to learn from your mistakes. Mm-hmm. And you've got to use other people's time and other people's money. So you need to borrow finance, employ staff, just to leverage everything you're doing. Yeah, there's a whole heap of other things, mantras and things, but I think get into it as soon as you can. Learn from mistakes, back yourself. Yeah.
Because I don't think we talked about this before, but you started your own business as what were you, landscape designer, or can you describe that part of your journey before you took over at Kuranga?
That's right. So, to start a nursery business, it's the barrier of entry that you've got to consider. So you need capital, you need a site, you need cash flow, you need to take a loss for 18 months as you're building up, growing the stock.
Wow.
There's all these barriers that make it a hard business to start or an industry to enter. But to start a landscaping business, you need a wheelbarrow and a ute, and and off you go. So we had quite a successful landscape design and construction company, Kangaroo Paw Landscapes, and I ran that for over 10 years.
Wow.
And we had 5 staff, trucks and excavators and bobcats, and I got my limited builder's license fairly early on, so we could do a lot of the structural landscapes. But it was all design and construct, so I did applied landscape design at Swinburne, and I loved it. Very creative. And design and construct. I still drive around and point out, I did a job down there, to the kids. Yeah. I still see a lot of our customers a lot of our landscape customers as Kuranga customers now too, which is nice.
That is so cool. And I imagine that gets you connected even more with people, like you said, who buy your products, but also other trades in the industry and that, which would, only just help you as a nurseryman.
That's right. Gives you the perspective as a trade customer and seeing shopping from a lot of different suppliers too. So you get you see the customer service and the quality of plants and the deliveries and how it all works from a whole heap of different growers, which I might not see if I'm just in the bubble at Kuranga as well.
Yeah.
So that was good. We liked it, build up capital that way. I should mention Alex and I renovated and sold house after house. Like we kept stepping it up each time and renovating and selling houses. And the landscaping business sort of, on a rainy day, the fellas are at the house painting the carport or whatever it is. And so we always did that to sort of build up capital. So it was a good way to get towards the end goal of having a large garden centre.
All right, let's jump over to your sentimental plants. I always ask our guests to, talk about a plant that has a specific memory or meaning attached to them. So what's your first one?
So I picked out a few here. This is a Banksia serrata seed cone that we collected over Easter and popped them on the Barbie.
Oh, right.
So we've sown the seed. I don't think it's germinated yet. It's only been a little while. So Banksia serrata, the sawtooth Banksia, it's one of my favourite sort of interesting smaller trees. These were planted down at my folks' holiday house down in Torquay.
Yep.
We got a shack down there. And I planted these, I reckon I was like, I don't know whether I was at Kuranga yet, but it was a long time ago, 20 years ago. But I've never let them get any higher than about 2 metres, even less, like 1.8 metres. It's a 6 metre high tree, sometimes taller. But so they're these small, squat little things, almost look like oversized bonsais with these gnarly trunks, this corky sort of trunk. It looks epic. And then they throw out these big candles.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them. Like they're really architectural because I sort of planted a few flat as well.
Okay.
So they're coming up in all these funny sort of angles. And there's about 12 of them planted in a small front yard. So they look really architectural now. So I love Banksia serrata as a small tree. It's a little bit slow growing, but the trunk's beautiful. The flowers are amazing. And to get the seed out, these are all closed up. We just cook it on the Barbie and they start opening up and then you put them all in a bucket and let them finish opening up, bang all the seed out and, that'll lead to 30 plants that are going to end up in people's gardens all over Melbourne. So I love that story that it started from a plant that we whacked in the ground 20 odd years ago and then it's getting, dispersed all over town.
Yeah, but I love that the humans have helped disperse it as well. Do you know what I mean? Because so many times we talk about plants and then, the birds have just, the pollinators and plants disperse because of those creatures. But it just, for me, when I'm listening to you, it reminds me of how important we are also. And we're a part of nature. Yeah. We can have just as much of an effect about the growth and development of our neighbourhoods and communities.
I think at Kuranga, we're like a facilitator for spreading native plants around. Well, that's like what we do. We're like our customers come and do it, but we let it happen.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So good.
That's one.
Okay. What's your next one?
Eucalyptus preciana.
I've never heard of that.
Bell-fruited mallee. These are cool. It's just like we sell it in our tree section, but it's often like a 1.5, 2 metre high shrub, usually wider than it is tall.
Okay.
A very low sort of compact eucalypt, quite large buds. Even in bud, it's quite nice. You get these sort of glossy, bronzy sort of buds that form up and you know what's coming when you see that.
Okay.
And then you get these amazing large, bright yellow flowers against the leathery, soft grey leaves. And it's from southwest WA, sort of a bit more inland.
Okay.
So a long way from home, but, quite easy in Melbourne. I'm not great in a natural sort of clay, heavy clay soil, but if you build it up, there's great examples all over town of these. Basically everywhere, whenever we move house, I always chuck one in. And
oh, do you?
Yeah, I love it. So, that's another sort of significant one that I like.
Awesome.
And the third option we have here. So for this, it was more like the the whole genus together. It's like spiridums.
Mm-hmm.
You know spiridums?
I've heard of
Dusty
it,
Miller?
but if I walked around, Dusty Miller.
Yeah.
So I know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a common descriptive name of spiridums,
Okay.
which are, not the most colourful, large flowering type of plant, but for texture and foliage and sort of contrast, I love these. Like Kuranga probably do, 12 or 15 different spiridums. They're interesting. They've got these flowering bracts, so that appear like leaves. And like this one, Winter Mist, it's like up to a metre high, sometimes a little bit less or more.
Yep.
Very round, very neat, but it has this sort of display, this sort of light grey display for like probably almost year round, like 9 months. It just hangs around, grows in a little bit of shade. But yeah, spiridums are amazing. I love them. I think they're underrated.
Okay.
And always looking for better. Like when I talk about its early days, I feel like there's still like amazing selections out there. And we've got a few that we're like building numbers up of. But I think that's worth noting as well.
Beautiful. I love the foliage on that. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's got really lovely shape, little dainty.
Yeah, it's got that almost like a Nothofagus ripple to the leaf there. And yeah.
Beautiful.
It's cool.
Well, thank you for sharing those. We always end the podcast with some quick fire questions, lightning fire round.
Okay.
And you don't have to give long answers, just whatever pops up in your mind. But the first one is, which native plant best represents you and why?
Ooh, Queensland bottle tree maybe, because same physique.
Awesome. Okay. What is the greatest nursery crime? Incorrect labels, no labels, plants in the wrong section, or plants left dry enough to write their own memoirs?
Oh, they're all bad.
Yeah.
I'd go with like no labels is pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. What is a botanical name you've struggled to pronounce over the years, but now it feels like you've won a gold medal every time you can say it?
What have we got? There's a few crackers. Eucalyptus pauciflora debusavillii.
Whoa.
That's a good one. Yeah. There's a few. Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. One word or sentence to describe how you feel when you're at home in your garden.
It's just like, feels like escape. Yeah. Escape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. And last question, one person alive or from history who you'd love to go into their garden, have a cup of tea or a coffee with, and listen to their garden stories.
Ellis Stone.
Okay.
Would have been, he was a prominent like native garden landscape architect. I'd love to hear him speak. He was prominent with like the mid-century,
Okay.
like in the 60s.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for sharing your journey, because it is hard to talk about yourself and reflect back and put all that into order for people. And thank you so much for the work you do at Kuranga and the team as well, because like you said, it's early days and there's a lot of great things happening, but even great things to come. And good luck with the development of the second site over at Kuranga Warrandyte. But yeah, thank you so much for being my guest today on the Sentimental Gardener podcast.
Thanks, Cass. It was my pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Now, I love all plant nurseries, but I've particularly loved going to Kuranga over the last couple of years. I can't articulate to you why, but it's always just had a feeling about the place. After the podcast, I went for a tour around the nursery and into the growing area with Ben, and he shared something that connected it all a bit more for me. He said that he's always wanted to own a garden centre, but taken lots of steps towards getting there. But having a garden centre isn't a step towards something else. There's no other milestone they're reaching for, because this is the life that they've chosen, the life they want to be living. The wanting and the having are the same thing. And because I was lucky enough to be shown around, I got to meet some lovely, enthusiastic people in the growing areas, sharing plants and growing them for all of us. And observing Ben and the people at the nursery, I saw the passion in the way they talk about what they grow, in the way they do business, and in how they look after their people, and in how they hold space for community. That passion and love runs through every branch of the nursery. And I think I understand the feeling a bit more now, and I'll try and articulate it here. Because the reason you start a thing flows through into all of it. Here, the original love of plants, people, and place hasn't been redirected somewhere else. It's still here. It's still in the nursery. It's still here in the soil, in the garden beds, in the staff, the way they grow, the way they do beautiful displays at the front door. Because when someone builds a life around what they love and keeps choosing it day after day, you don't just see the work, you feel it. If you enjoyed today's episode, consider leaving a review on Apple or Spotify, as it really helps people find the podcast. And if you love The Sentimental Gardener and you want a little more, you might enjoy our subscriber-only episodes on Patreon or Apple Podcasts. And if you want a little extra but you don't want to pay a little extra, then you can join our free newsletter at thesentimentalgardener.com. And while you're there, check out all the previous episodes. A big thank you for the theme music by Hayden Schuler at Berea Gardening, audio mixing by Tom Dowding, and this podcast is produced and edited by me, Cass Dowding. This episode was recorded on the traditional lands of the Warrandyte people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respect to elders, past and present.